Hi everybody. My name's Drew. I'm representing Maddison Architects this morning, and we'd like to present HAINING Farm Campus to you. HAINING Farm Campus is one of, or it's the latest of 4 campuses that are public education outdoor activity centres. So it's a government initiative. Collectively, they're called the Alpine Schools. Not a lot is normally known about them, but they offer a place where Year 9 kids go and stay a whole term for outdoor activities. The HAINING Farm has a larger story, which I don't want to dwell on too much. It was land gifted to the government back in the 70s, a total of 59 hectares. The area on the left is being turned into a conservation park and an extension of what is the Yellingbo Conservation Area. The area to the right is our site. It was annexed to the Department of Education. And there it is, 6.5 hectares, sitting on, it's sort of within a sort of rural fringe, if you like, of Don Valley. And being a Victorian Schools Building Authority project, obviously the budget is always testing. In this instance, we've delivered a building, less services and site works at $2,440 a square metre. And challenging to this exercise in particular is because it's an accommodation facility, we have the additional acoustic and fire separation requirements that we had to absorb into the project. Some shots on the right, some strong influences on the project, the fantastic projects by 6 Degrees, Bray, Partners Hill, the Longhouse, which we all know about. And of course, they're all referencing this shed typology, and which was clearly obvious, an obvious driver for us in this area. We're in Wurundjeri country, and we're not far from the Don River, which flows into the Yarra River, just south of the site. Part of our early investigative works was to do a cultural heritage management plan and a field investigative works were undertaken, and through that we actually identified site artefacts on the site. These have been now catalogued, and they'll be reburied back on the site at a time to be designated. Some early sketch ideas. This was actually an idea as part of the pitch to get the project, more of a poetic response. The idea again of the shed and what that could be. And now we start to look at some of the strong influences on the site. And obviously landscape is a major one. We've got a strong existing ridgeline. We had the setback requirements for bushfire. In this case, we have 30-metre setbacks. And we're also very mindful of the environmental sensitivities around the site. So minimising the footprint, controlling stormwater runoff, controlling the overall impact of what we were doing here, minimising earthworks, etc. And here's a first view of what the result looked like. And an aerial view looking back the other way. You can see the containment of the site we're trying to get. And then I guess another major move in terms of the alignments and the offsets. So utilising the nuances of the contours of the site, breaking down the overall mass of the building, getting that separation and using those factors as sort of spatial drivers, if you like. There's a view of that from above and showing how that looks like down at ground level, that separation. And then, of course, the importance of connection to place and the views of this all-encompassing Yarra Ranges. There's incredible views looking out across the Yarra Ranges, views from all wings, both sides. In terms of the program, we've got learning spaces. So the central building is primarily a learning space with a multifunction space here. Connections externally, internal courtyard that receives northern light. It's very strong in this overall building mass. Staff facilities here, and then ancillary learning spaces above and below that, views out to the external areas. You can see a view of that in learning mode, multifunction space, in dining mode, and really everything happens in this room. Views out to those rear areas that can become rear learning areas. So all these doors open up onto those spaces. And then a view from this little internal courtyard looking back through, again, strong connections externally. View of that courtyard space with an operable roof. Again, receiving that northern light, penetrating that, getting that light back into the core. And the edge conditions, that sort of divisibility of edge conditions. And the importance of getting activity areas, sort of external activation of those areas around close to the buildings themselves. And for us, a really important factor, this sort of like datum line, this observational datum line that runs throughout the building. So from the reception or staff areas, you can see who's coming and going. You can see if somebody's participating within the kitchen, helping out, how the classes are going, even if the table tennis table is available. Supporting spaces to the learning area. So we've got this kitchen area, which flanks onto the multifunction space. Obviously separate arrival deliveries area. And then we've got this support to the expedition area. So this is where outdoor activities depart and return from. So there's gear storage, there's preparation of hiking bags, there's briefing sessions, and then there's cleaning up areas. So here you see a cycling event sort of about to leave. Here they're preparing their packs. In this instance, they're doing it outside because they've got a good day to do it. And the hose down facilities, these sort of robust hose down facilities, undercover drying areas.
1 minute.
Right, and the kitchen, strong social spaces, important learning areas effectively themselves. So the accommodation areas, we've got bunk rooms for all the kids, and then a central wet area with laundry facilities, and then we've got the staff accommodation being a 24/7 facility, views out in all directions. A lot of money, I guess, invested into the accommodation rooms themselves, custom joinery, saddlebag, window seats. Want to make the kids feel as home as much as possible, using colour to give individuality in each of the accommodation alcoves. The central wash areas where you can bump into each other, have a conversation. Some more of those views. And just a little reflective view of where we came from and where we're at now. And that's it.